up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with a few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Hi guys, it's us. We're back. Oh guys. What's going on with this camera angle, you guys? It's just the grip show. There we go.
Would anyone be upset about that?
Oh, probably not. But if you're just tuning in, we just started, I guess. So yeah, everybody's just tuning in. This is the Drive-In Speakerbox. This is a podcast and a live video stream about movies and whatnot. Hey, Jasper from Facebook. Good to see you tuned in here. But for those of you that don't know me personally, I just got done with a very long session of chatting online with a lot of people about everything that's going on in the world right now with COVID-19, coronavirus, all of its monikers that it has come to be known by lately. And, it's going to govern a lot of the topics of conversation tonight because the film industry has been incredibly affected by this whole outbreak. So, it's one of these things that, I don't know if you looked at the news. We're the news in terms of movies. This is one of the worst box office weekends since, I want to say, like 1995.
Maybe it's because tickets were purposely limited.
There's that, and theaters are starting to close, and there are towns under quarantine. I do have a question for one of our viewers, Vince. I know that you live in Chicago, and Chicago is experiencing a lot of bar and restaurant closings. I know that St. Patrick's Day, one of the biggest things in Chicago, has also been canceled. For those of you that know me personally, I also own and operate a bar here in town called Pinpoint. And we have decided to close starting effectively tomorrow, and we will be closed until further notice. So it's been, there's going to be a lot of movie watching in people's homes, and we're going to get you equipped for that. Shout outs to Tony Garrett and Johnny Dalton for tuning in early there. So a lot of stuff happening right now. A lot of movies being pushed back, because of this. There was already pushback from movies that just underperforming things. But, we've got, now Fast and the Furious being postponed. And then what was the other one that just happened that's getting pushed back?
Fast and Furious got pushed back. James Bond got pushed back.
We were just talking about another one that just got pushed back.
I don't remember. I know James Bond got pushed to Thanksgiving, and Fast and Furious got pushed to April of next year.
Oof, that's a big push. Mm-hmm. Vince says gatherings 50 or more have been canceled for 2 months, and that's in Chicago. What is your local theater scene? What are your bar and restaurants? I'm curious to know what's happening in Chicago.
Is Illinois one of the states where all bars and restaurants were ordered closed, isn't it?
Yeah.
As of yesterday.
Last Starfighter got pushed back. He said, well, we're going to need him now more than ever.
Dude, Alex hit COVID with the death blossom.
But a lot of companies I think Universal is making a thing to Universal Studios. All the movies that are currently in theaters from Universal are about to go to on demand here in the next week. So
that's an idea right there.
They're trying to get people to, not really encourage them to go to theater, but also encourage them to watch. Because this is detrimental to a lot of people in the film industry. A friend of mine, Zane, he is a guy that lived here for a while, worked in and out of kitchens, and when True Detective came around, this part of the through Northwest Arkansas where we live, and he ended up getting with the catering company, and he and I had always talked about film production a lot, and then he ended up landing a job with one of these catering companies, and he went, and now he works professional. He's almost a union guy now, and he'd already been on a stint of no work for about 2 months, which is normal in our industry. But he had a big gig in California lined up with HBO that was supposed to go for another like 4 or 5 months, which is a huge gig. That means you've got cash for for a minute. But that just got put on postpone. A lot of stuff in Austin, a lot of stuff in Atlanta, all those film scenes. A lot of my friends that work in film crews are screwed.
Well, that's crazy. You'd think that they would just limit the production staff, kind of like a necessary personnel, like only type thing.
But that's really hard to do on big productions because necessary personnel is in excess of 100 or more, and you're going to multiple locations.
Well, you could split your units up a little more, and maybe in the interim get some B-roll or do some sound capturing and indoor scenes and things like that might require less of a crew or something.
It's I think they're going to have to start doing stuff like that because you can't put it at a standstill. And now more than ever, people are going to be at home consuming content. And we're going to talk to you a little bit about that content later in the show. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Bloodshot, Onward, and Guns Akimbo. 2 of these movies in theaters right now. One of these on demand only. Johnny Dalton in the comments saying, I love how restaurants and bars are advertising how they're now sanitizing on a nightly basis. Shouldn't they have been doing that all along? And here's the sad reality of it. Yes, they already do this all along. But as we've reported here on the Drive-In Speakerbox, you guys, the audience at large, needs this constant reassurance that things that always happen are happening.
As someone who would normally go to work right after this at a bar, part of my job is to clean the entire bar every night with like 5-6 different cleansing tools, including bleach and Lysol and several different cleaning oils and chemicals and things like that. You clean every surface. We do it every single night. So, but you have to give reassurance and let people know that like it's going to be something that you're on top of, even though
you do it every day.
It's quite a bit already.
And that goes to now that I can say this on the Drive-In Speakerbox because this is a different platform, obviously. Audience mentality, crowd mentality, hive mentality is a frightening thing, and I've discussed this a lot on the show about why we get a lot of these Marvel movies and sequels and prequels because we have collectively as an audience trained people to like that's what we want, that's what we expect. We're the hive mentality. And we've also trained everybody to, know that a group of people is going to freak out and panic if, we got hand sanitizer, we're wiping it down every day, we're doing it. That's stuff that we always do anyway, but now we need to let you know extra because we know you never read the signs. We know you never look where you're walking. We know that you're not paying attention to jack shit anywhere you go. But now people are actually starting to open their eyes and, they need these messages more now than ever. Vince says, look at the stores. People are hoarding for no reason, panic buying. It's crazy. Something you've heard me say a lot on the Drive-In Speakerbox is audiences, society, they operate on a hive mind. That's one of the things that I've always tried to break here on the Drive-In Speakerbox is I want people to think on their own. I want people to use their brain. I want people to absorb content, not based on what other people are telling them to absorb, but based on just making your own decisions on things and opening your eyes to the world around you and taking it in. You got to do that. Matt Ferries up in the comments on Facebook says, not touching your face is the new stare out. I know, it's just like, you can't do this. Oh, you can't do it. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your face.
Dude, you can't not when you have like a mustache, man. I'm just saying.
You got to touch your face.
Yeah, when you got facial hair, you have to, or glasses.
You got to touch your face. But you know what? The virus isn't just on your face. It's on your butt. It's on your feet. It's on your shoulders. It's all around you. It's crazy. And in my other video that I was doing on my personal page, somebody had commented that they were watching, I think it's like the #1 viewed thing on Amazon Prime and Netflix right now, but Outbreak and then the other one, the other virus movie,
Yeah, because now that Netflix shows you what the top 10 movies in your country are.
Contagion.
Yeah, Contagion
Walking
and
Dead.
Pandemic
Out
and
there.
all that.
Sickness, the movie.
Yeah, it's like those, and then it's like Space Jam. And you're like, oh, yeah, Space Jam.
There is hope for us yet. It's crazy times that we live in, and one thing that I said on my previous video that I want to reassure everybody here tonight is that that those are movies. Those are made for entertainment. They're made to scare. They're made to excite. They're made to make you feel things that are different from your normal realities. And so, just because you're watching a movie and somebody like touches their forehead and then touches a small baby and the baby explodes into like a zombie form and eats a face, that's not real. And viruses can spread and they're scary, but don't buy bullets and then stockpile a pallet of toilet paper because you watched Outbreak last night. Like don't do that.
I think they're gonna have movies soon where it'll be like people like a Quiet Place, but instead of not being able to talk, it's like not being able to touch your face, and someone has hair like in their eye, and they're like, oh, and then they like stare at the people around them, and the people around them are like, oh no,
get them.
Yeah, and then they just like die forever.
So this in from the comments that I think is hilarious. What's going to happen? This is going to the grip here. It goes, if the CDC recommends shaving your face, what are you going to do over here, Mr. Mustache? Take me home, Jesus. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm going to be like a gun nut. It's like you're going to have to come take it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You're going to pry this mustache off my cold, dead lip. It's in the Sam Elliott voice.
Yeah, me and Sam Elliott and Tom Selleck are going to form an alliance, and we're going to stand against him.
Mustaches united.
You ain't getting this from me.
Oh man, but it's been an interesting week in everything. A lot of Disney Plus, releasing Frozen 2 because we all know that people need more babysitters now more than ever, and Disney movies have been the great babysitter for generations of Disney Vault. Like, oh well, now we got DVD players in the van. Put in a Disney movie. We're dry. I don't want to hear my child speak. Put in a Disney movie. So that's what's happening. Razzie Awards were a thing, and to no one's surprise, Cats took all the Razzies, but everybody's been so focused on other things, we haven't been talking about the Razzies.
What people normally...
I know.
I'm going to touch every part of my face just to make everyone uncomfortable.
You should. Let's just do it. Let's just touch our faces.
Just a little at a time.
Just a little. Yeah, I'm going to touch my eyes, touch my nose, and touch my face. But another movie-related closing news, Regal Cinemas is set to close all of their U.S. theaters right now. And this was posted this afternoon. Regal Cinemas are looking to do it. And right now, AMC capping capacity in theaters to 50 patrons. It's New York and LA, of course, shutting down for the time being. Period.
I hope that on their app, like when you book a seat, it automatically blocks out the two next to you.
It should.
Or like if you have a group, like a small group of like 2 to 4 people, it blocks out like 1 or 2 seats next to you guys, so that no one can be next to you. That would be perfect. Mm-hmm. And if it could just stay that way. Forever.
Merle in the comments said 12 Monkeys is a good one for any time, but also now. Yes, if you're wanting a epidemic movie about viral plague wiping out all of mankind, 12 Monkeys is a great movie. Terry Gilliam, one of my favorite all-time directors, highly recommend watching that over Contagion or rewatching Walking Dead because that's silly. McLean asks, is that 50 per screen or 50 in total? I think it's 50 per screen.
Yeah.
So each.
Well, it's that's the cap.
Yeah.
So they're only booking each theater 50%. So if there's less than 50 seats in the theater, then it's only going to be half of what that theater capacity is. But it was initially that they have some like IMAX screens that can sit up to 500 people at a time, and they limited it to that being max capacity of 250. So now they're saying even those 500 person screens with IMAX are going to be a maximum of 50 people in the entire thing, which sounds like a great time to go to IMAX. Honestly.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah.
But it was A Quiet Place was the other one that got postponed.
The two.
But that brings up a really interesting point that I think is going to be in big discussion here in the next couple of weeks. Is now that a lot of people are going to be leaning into streaming media, watching things at home. You're going to see a lot more of these subscription services actually get subscribers now, which there's cue conspiracy theory music, but. One of the bigger questions is this going to be the death nail of theaters? If this goes on for, some people are saying months, and everybody just gets so accustomed to watching movies at home, and then studios are like, well, now we're delivering movies at home, and people are like, usually I would be like, I don't really want to pay $9.95 to watch it now at my house, but now they might. Or what does that even mean? Like if a movie that's set to come out in theaters, if they go, well, if you're going to show it at your house, it's going to be $39.95.
Because you don't know how many people.
Because back in the video store days, little history for all you millennials that don't know about this kind of weird history of movies and videos. Back in the video stores, when you owned a video or a VHS or DVDs, these distribution companies, you don't just go to Walmart and buy the movie that's coming out to rent. There was always the period of the movie goes in the theaters, then it's gone for a minute, then it hits the rental.
It was going for like a year and a half, 2 years while they made it on video. Now, stuff comes out on video while it's still in the theater.
Yeah. But at that time, the video stores had to purchase these VHS and DVD copies from the distribution companies. And the movie studios, like a VHS copy of like Gremlins in, the late 80s was like $350. Because, they're like, okay, well, you're going to be viewing these to a lot of viewers. You're going to be renting them out. So it's going to cost you a lot of money to get this VHS. So you couldn't get your hands on physical copies until way later. So I wonder if that old school model of distribution, it's kind of like pay-per-view for UFC. Like a lot of people are just like, well, why doesn't my Buffalo Wild Wings show the UFC fight? I feel like I could probably fill it up, and everybody want to see it. Put it on the TV. And you go, well, what you don't know is UFC is charging that Buffalo Wild Wings $20,000 to show that.
Yeah, because it's like you showing it at home. You don't want to pay for it because it's like $60, $80, $100, but it's even more for them. Actually, I live in the entertainment district, and when I first moved there, I tried to get ATT Uverse, because I was like, Uverse is going to be the way to do it. And they said I couldn't have it, even though they have a little portal right there next to my apartment, because I was entertainment district and I'd have to pay the same as what a bar would pay for it.
Screw that,
and I was like, there's no way, because I'm not going to pay you $5,000 a month just to have TV.
Residential though, they still try to pull that.
Yep. They said that their little portal was zoned for entertainment.
But other coronavirus news, Matrix 4 production has shut down officially.
Was anyone just mad amped about friggin' Matrix?
Someone was.
Like, did you see Matrix 2 and Matrix 3? And like the majority of Animatrix, that's my jam. Nobody's ever done that.
No one's ever done that.
Yeah.
Fantastic Beasts 3 production has been postponed.
Okay, again, if anyone's seen the first two of those,
then you got enough. Let's see. I think I've got a bigger list. FX pushed back Fargo season 4. Uncharted movie production has been delayed.
Oh man.
Let's see.
Well, in Fargo, they only release those seasons like once every couple of years, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Handmaid's Tale, Witcher, Lord of the Rings show, all those productions have been shut down.
Well, that sucks for shows like The Witcher that just really found its audience and is starting to build up, and to have it further delayed might make it where it's season 2. But then again, all of us waited on Game of Thrones as long as we did. So
we sure did. The Batman production has been shut down. Which was just starting up too. All the little viral photos were starting to leak, and everybody was like, "Oh, look at the costume! Look at the car! Look at the Batman's car! It's different than the last Batman's car!" Ah!
Yeah, the Batmobile is always something you need to know about.
Of course, Universal Disney World closing down the parks. It's pretty good. Like Jimmy Kimmel Live shutting down stuff, Netflix shutting down stuff for the Stranger Things until further notice. I mean, it's getting pretty good. Dollywood is closed. Tennessee, they're scared in Tennessee. Dollywood, if Dolly Parton has closed Dollywood, then there's problems.
Yeah, well, if even Disney is shutting down their stuff, because we all know how Disney feels about money.
And humans. They don't care about humans. They want the monies. I don't know. It's scary times, man. Now Idris Elba got the Rona. My Rona.
Vince says that they're going to start filming some Broadway. And he says it might make it more accessible to more people, but will it? Are they still going to charge you to watch it like they would for you to go to the...
Oh, you'd like to see this Broadway production of Hamilton? Well, it's going to be $700.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. And actually, speaking of Broadway productions, I went and caught the Broadway production of Anastasia that was playing here at our Walton Arts Center, and I caught the last show. It was on last Thursday. Went and saw it, and then the entire cast of Anastasia, or no, I went and saw Wednesday, but then I saw the entire cast of Anastasia at Pinpoint, my bar, on Thursday drinking, and they didn't know what was going to happen, and of course the rest of the shows got canceled. But they're having to return home, and they essentially lost their job. They were in the middle of a big tour, and now they're kind of screwed, man. It's very, very scary. So a lot of that stuff happening in the world. A lot of cancellations.
Vince just said that Wheel of Fortune is going audience free. I mean, could they not just hit like the applause track that they have pre-recorded?
Yeah, is there an
like
audience? I didn't even know
there
that.
is. I mean, it's like any other game show, but Wheel of Fortune audience, all they do is clap and go woo. I'm pretty sure they have plenty of recordings.
Claps and woos? Yeah, everybody's got claps and woos. Yeah. Canned laughter, canned applause. But we could go, the list of this is really, really long, guys, and we've got movies to review. Coming out in theaters this week, guess what? Nothing. This is the first time in the history of the drive-in Speakerbox, which I've been doing for over 15 years. This is the first time ever that I've never had a movie to talk about that's coming out in theaters this weekend.
There's not one?
Not a single wide release that's coming out in theaters this weekend. That is literally unprecedented. I mean, there's always just one. It's always like cell phone murder, or jump scare, the movie, or guy meets girl, girl meets guy, guy has wacky job, girl blah blah blah. What was that? Couple accidentally runs over bad guy, gets framed for murder.
With Kumail Nanjiani and HBO chick,
or literally any vanilla flavor of movie of the week. There's not even one of those, you guys. They've all been held back in fear of the virus.
I wonder. Monday Night Raw is going on right now, and
audience free.
Really? Mm-hmm. They did that with SmackDown last week, Friday. Yeah. I wonder if they're just going to stop.
A little strange
altogether, since their locker room is so big. Because Vince said something about stopping after 9/11, and actually, fun fact, WWE was the first live event held after the 9/11 attacks, period.
Well, I think if ever there were a time for the Running Man to make its debut, the time is now. It's like, we've gathered up the roughest, toughest, corona-positive bad guys, and we're putting them in a cage death match. Battle Royale. The first one to survive gets the inoculation.
Yeah, but they have to go up against Sub-Zero, and they have to...
And the Maestro.
Yeah, and they have to fight, electrified fat dudes and very American Jesse Ventura.
Yeah,
and
dude.
What was Jesse Ventura's name?
He was like Captain Awesome America, not Captain America because that's dumb. Or it was like Sergeant America, or Sergeant Freedom. It was.
I mean, it doesn't matter. He was super cool. Yeah, dude, they can just have coronavirus infected people with a doctored video of them in a helicopter killing crowds, and then they're like, "Oh, they're evil," and then put them on the luge to doom.
Mm-hmm. And then the guy from Family Feud,
Richard Dawson
will be like, "Oh, right, time to die."
But this time it's Steve Harvey now.
Yeah, and Dynamo. Yeah, Dynamo.
Yeah, Dynamo. Thank you. Yeah.
And he had that light up car that looked like it was from Silver Dollar City's like parade of lights at Christmas. And
yeah, and he's like,
yeah. Oh gosh, man. But yeah, in the comments, Sam says the book was so much darker. Yes, it was. But you know that's who knows, man. It's time. You know, here's the crazy thing, because I'm going back to my other video that's not the Driving Speakerbox. Now is the time to turn lemons to lemonade. There are books. Hang on. You say words, Grip.
Me say words. The only words I'm thinking about is that old lady in The Running Man where she puts her money on Arnold, and he's like, "You can't do that. He's not one of the hunters." And she's like, "It's my money, and I can put it on whoever I want. And I'm going to put it on him because he's one mean son of a bitch."
Oh, man, it's true. He was one mean son of a bitch. Mm-hmm. But in a time like this, in a quarantine time when you're not supposed to go outside, you're not supposed to go touch other humans or your face, or touch other humans with your face, or touch faces of other humans, you know, things like this. I'm gonna hold up a couple of books that I have that are, you know, you remember these things? Books. Well, here's some
coffee table books.
Here's some books about movies. 101 cult movies you must see before you die, and 1001 movies you must see before you die. Which, hilariously enough, I know I've mentioned this on the show before, has a picture of Harrison Ford from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, quite possibly one of the best Indiana Jones films. No, but that movie is not worst in this book.
Second worst, which in fairness makes it third best.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth hole, or I'll touch your face with my face.
Well, okay, I wasn't worried until you added that part.
Germ, and we'll germ. Anyway, but now,
yeah. Why is Blues Brothers on a cult movie book? There's nothing culty about Blues Brothers. Everybody has seen the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, but you gotta.
Everybody needs somebody.
You gotta remember the cult movies to guys like us are you know, complete obscuro to most people. Like, now Bill and Ted is somehow becoming zeitgeist with a lot of people, and like 10 years ago I'd be like, "Yo, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes." And like, what the hell are you talking about? And now everybody's like, "Bill and Ted 3, I like it now because I just heard about it on the internet." And so McLean, Last Crusade all the way, you're wrong. I'm just gonna get that out there.
Yeah, Last Crusade is the correct one. McLean is right. No, we're in agreement there.
But my point is, now is the perfect time to catch up on really good. I mean, it's really sad because I've seen so many of these movies.
You know what you could do if you have cable, or if you have like Hulu or something where you have access to it? Turn on TCM if you're stuck at home. Just watch TCM and pay attention to the parts between the movies, because they'll educate you about the movies and behind the scenes and the productions and all the fun stuff about movies and Hollywood. There's interviews with Drew Barrymore and Alec Baldwin, who both know way too much about movies and Hollywood and things like that, and they can tell you stories about things like this movie that I just found here, Lawrence of Arabia.
But you've never seen Lawrence of Arabia?
What? No. Yeah. Yeah,
it's 1001 movie you must see before you die. I opened the page to Pink Flamingos.
Don't watch that one.
No, watch that one.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, watch that one.
Why would you do that?
Well, it's better than his other film, Desperate Living, where you get to see her eat a turd. And
yeah, I thought that was in Pink Flamingos.
No, wait. Pink Flamingos is the one you see him eat a turd, but in Desperate Living, it's like sitting in a weird hamburger, like, let me see that pale, let me see that inchworm. Oh yeah, and it's like
the point creepy. Is, don't watch John Waters movies.
Oh man, these are cult classics.
What's the name of the of the person?
Divine?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Divine rules.
No, Divine ate a turd on camera.
Yeah, this is Divine. Mm-hmm. Divine did what Divine had to do, you know? But, you know, you like movies like Superfly.
How is Superfly a cult movie?
Well, because a lot of people that aren't us haven't seen Superfly.
But there's a whole Curtis Mayfield album
that's so good. Superfly. Like, oh, dude. there's just so many good movies that you could check out that we've probably seen all of these movies.
There's a decent chance.
So many that you could just pick up.
How many trauma movies are in there?
Actually, not many. I think it's just Toxic Avenger and Sergeant Kabuki Cop. But then Phantom of the Paradise. That's a Brian De Palma classic. Like there's so many of these movies that we could. Grey Gardens. That's 1975. So many really good movies. And once you get to the 80s, like the 80s section, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. If you haven't seen that, then you don't care about the show.
Dude, watch the cartoon.
On Your Grave, not the remake, but the original. Classic revenge film. Like you need to. Oh, dude, like you live in dark times when The Wiz is considered a cult film. But you know what? Right now in these trying times, it is. People haven't seen The Wiz, and it's craziness. The Wiz is freaking bonkers. And also, what was the other one where they rode the motorcycles? And this is the Michael Jackson.
Are you talking about his music video where he turns into the claymation rabbit? Because there's motorcycles.
No, he's the Scarecrow. And
but you said the one where they ride the motorcycles.
No, there was the Return, where it's a robot. I can't remember the name of it, but how is Mad Max a cult film? This book is amateur hour.
The first one blows, so maybe that's why it's a cult film, because everyone comes in on Road Warrior or Thunderdome.
I mean, you got Monty Python's Life of Brian. Everybody's seen that.
Is Zardoz in there?
The Warriors.
How is The Warriors a cult film?
Come out. Well, until about 2004, no one had ever seen The Warriors.
Well, when the video game came out?
The video game. Clink, 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 come out and play.
Well, I can see Life of Brian being cult film.
What?
Well, because it's better than The Meaning of Life, but it's
Time
not.
Bandits. This is assigned watching. Like if you've never seen a movie about a bunch of little people that are thieves and they steal a Time Lord's time map and travel throughout time to go steal treasure, and
so it's The Borrowers meets Back to the Future.
Like this movie is so good. It's so good. Oh my gosh, Basket Case. I've seen all of these stupid. This book is not helpful for me, but hopefully this is helpful for you. Basket Case, a really, really good, like schlocky early '80s horror movie about a dude that keeps like this weird homunculoid thing in a basket, and it eat people. It's like his brother or something, and it eats people's faces, just plumb off. Fitzcarraldo. If you've never seen Fitzcarraldo, Werner Herzog.
Oh yeah.
With his crazy favorite actor in the world, Klasinski, who he made a documentary about called My Best Fiend. If you've never seen Klasinski in a Werner Herzog film, you are doing yourself a disservice.
There's a Werner Herzog narrated wildlife documentary on Netflix, and I can't remember which one, but I wish I could tell you because it's just Werner Herzog's kind of creepy, but like almost comforting voice, like over animals. I don't know. Werner Herzog is like a weird character. Remember when he was in Jack Reacher and he was just a bad guy for like 2 seconds?
He was the bad guy, instilling the fear in all of the people in the city, trembling, scared, cursing the air, praying to their God that he would not show up on the doorstep and steal the souls of all the children, leaving them in a cold, lifeless void for all of eternity.
He just seems like he should always be doing the Hannibal Lecter, like...
He always does the like nihilistic monologue. That's my Werner Herzog impression, is nihilism in long, drawn-out pauses, talking about the meaningless of life, that the void of sadness that is the impervious heart of cold, dark, soulless void. Like that's Werner Herzog voice. That's what. Yeah.
See, Vince has a good idea to just watch all the Criterion Collection list, which half of the movies
includes RoboCop.
Nice. Or you can just watch TCM, because I mean most of those movies are in this book that I just flipped through, and they're Criterion.
My point of all of this insanity is, don't just watch the top 10 recommended bullshits on Netflix. Dig a little deeper, you guys.
I mean, watch Space Jam.
Well, yeah, well, of course, watch Space Jam. But, you know, if you're just like, well, I'll just watch Avengers Endgame, is that one of them? And Avengers Age of Voltron again.
Age of Voltron would be
Wouldn't that
dope.
be sick?
That would be sick.
I think I have a Voltron up here.
It's just like lion roars and lightning, and then like the Avengers all have watches,
symbol.
and they like do like the Power Rangers slap, but then they
the
have
original
like,
Megazord.
yeah. But
Well-
like Voltron with their cooler sword and like and the tiger mouths.
Like, the point is, we watch a lot of stuff and we've seen a lot of stuff, but we want you to do it too. And don't, instead of just subscribing to another dumbass streaming service, like, now is the
Subscribe
time
to this dumbass streaming service.
Yeah. Well, not to get real fucking serious for a second, but we may seriously start to be doing more Patreon and some other stuff, because we do this content weekly as kind of a service to you guys, because we love you guys and we love movies and we love doing all this stuff, but our ability to see movies is about to run out, and our ability to kind of employ ourselves is also about to run out. Because I own a bar that is now shut down. He works at a bar that is now shut down. And he also works at an automotive shop that is not seeing a lot of business right now. I just talked to the owner the other day. I talked to Corey over at CNC Automotive, and he's feeling the pain, and he's feeling, because they also opened a restaurant, and that's about to be shut down. And I had a very long conversation with a lot of brilliant people in our community recently of how do we, those of us that are going to be hit the most, that can't work from home, that we can't do whatever, how can we continue to get by? And one of the things is creating content. You guys watch this stuff, and we enrich your lives, hopefully, and that maybe if times get really tough and you do have the ability to work from home or continue to support yourself, that maybe you can pass that along in small ways to help us get by and continue to bring you good content in these trying times. So, and that means that we might come in and start reviewing these weird old movies, this and imparting more of this insanity in our brains, and giving you recommendations.
I can find a way to start watching early 1900s British dramas.
Yes, this may be the shove we need to get the grip to review episodes of Downton Abbey.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So, not to take a serious tone, but we may be doing a little bit more content than normal, and we may be doing some asks, because it's gonna get hairy out here, and not to go full on like Sally Struthers on you, but 99 cents can go a long way into supporting two young men's health and
in the eyes of an angel,
and we're just here looking out for these young men. And then we're gonna sell you a Thigh Master, or I'm gonna start using a Thigh Master, because dude, if I'm gonna be sitting on the couch all day eating these troll Oreos that the grip brought me,
but check that out, they got green frosting and they got Pop Rocks in them.
What? I haven't even tried it. Unboxing video. There we go. Let's get these.
How about that?
Trollios. Would you like one?
I mean, yeah.
Get one, dude.
Look at that.
Okay.
They got Pop Rocks right in there.
Right in the middle. All right, I'm going on it. ASMR.
That's the worst.
ASMR. We're gonna eat some Oreos right here.
But that's movie related, because it's about the trolls. Trolls 2.
There are Pop Rocks in that Oreo. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, let's review some movies, guys. Let's do what we came here to do. Let's talk about Guns Akimbo, because that's Pop Rocks in my mouth. Can you guys hear that?
Is it? I mean, it's fun, right?
It is fun. Guns Akimbo. We're going to talk about this movie really quick.
I really wanted to watch that movie. I was set to watch it last night, and I did not get to, because I had to go to such an early showing of the other movie that I watched.
Well, you missed out. And
I'm going to watch it as soon as I get home tonight, actually.
It's on Amazon Prime Video, $6.99. You can check it out. It's from director Jason Lee Howden, starring Daniel Radcliffe, Samara Weaving, and Riz Darby. This is a movie that came out technically in 2019, but it didn't get a wide release. But now it's on VOD, and you can check it out. It is like one part hobo with a shotgun, one part
Rip.
See. What?
Rip.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's one part the Battle Royale. It's stylistically
It's like Gamer.
It's very, very much like Gamer, and this movie is borrowing heavily from a lot of different items, but taking a very tongue-in-cheek approach to it, which Daniel Radcliffe is the perfect casting for. Daniel Radcliffe, of course. He kind of took a weird dark turn with some of these roles that he was taking, which like Swiss Army Man, which I really, really loved, and then Horns, which, it's all right. But really trying to break himself free of the Harry Potter.
He did that quick, man. No, he did Equus.
No, he did.
And he did Equus and a couple other
things. He showed
things.
his wiener with a white horse.
Yeah, so he just like straight up was like, cool, Harry Potter's done. I'm going to go like keep this going as a career, because not everyone gets to be Emma Watson and look like Emma Watson and just get to be treated like that. Like you got Rupert Grint, who also really has to try to step away from Harry Potter as much as he can and continue a career like that. But Daniel Radcliffe's done really good, and he's generally he's good in everything that he's in.
Solid actor. Yeah. And so Guns Akimbo, for those of you that need a grammatical dictionary lesson, akimbo is a word for meaning arms like this. So if you have your hands on your hips and your shoulder to your elbow forms a triangle like that, that is called akimbo, for those of you that don't know. And yes, I knew that before going into this movie because I like
also
words.
Used to refer to
double-wielding guns, yeah. And so he's got these two guns akimbo, blah 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 blah, and they it takes place in this world that's parallel to ours, but there is this weird shadow organization called Schism that exists and kind of does a very much a Running Man scenario where they either blackmail or something these two bad guys and follow them around with drones and stream it, and they have to kill each other. And then it's like one of the most popular internet shows, but it's like totally underground and totally like black market, and the cops are trying to figure out how to shut it down. And it's run by this overly hilarious in-boss looking tattooed dude played by Ned Dennehy, who I hadn't seen in a long time, but he plays Richter, the bad guy.
Of course, a bad guy's gonna be named Richter.
Yeah, with a K. And I'm pretty sure there's still pop rocks in my throat. But the movie is ridiculous and wild and crazy and has a lot of interesting gun choreography and a lot of headshots and a lot of bizarre kills. But it's very tongue-in-cheek. It's very gory and the violence is over the top, but it also has a very somewhat predictable storyline, but enjoyable in a sense that same way as, like I said, Hobo with a Shotgun was just over the top and gratuitous for all the gratuitous' sake, but in a way that took itself seriously enough to not take itself seriously. And the music is fun. There are a lot of plot holes and continuity nitpickery that I could do on this about like the main character played by Samara Weaving, known as Nyx in the film, how she's like scared of fire, but yet she blows things up all the time, and I don't know how that really adds up. I would have, if it was me writing the film, I would have made her childhood trauma not involve fire, but maybe, I don't know, something a little less involved in her current profession. Anyway, I don't know. There's things like that. But it's all about just this guy kind of developing a backbone and standing up for himself. He was this kind of internet troll that ended up having to put his money where his mouth was. So he was really good at trolling online, and Schism's like, well, we don't like you, so we're going to put you in here, and now you got to really do it.
Had to put guns where his hands were.
Yes, and so he wakes up, and they have bolted pistols to his hand. And, the movie is, I don't want to give anything away, but it is just a romp of ridiculous proportions. I'm not going to say it's an amazing movie because contextually it's not, but it was very fun. And it's very much like hardcore, what was it, Hardcore Henry? That came out a few years ago.
Yeah, the FPS.
The first, borrowed a lot of the playbook from that. And what was the movie that we saw that we really enjoyed where they put the chip in his neck? And it was a lot of like really interesting fight scenes. Upgrade.
Yeah, Upgrade. Yeah,
very much like that, where we're like kind of strange, bizarre, fun fight choreography there. Like, oh, dude, I haven't seen that in a minute. That's kind of fun. So
Upgrade was good.
Upgrade was good because it borrowed a lot of from science fiction things to make you think about stuff, but took it to another fun action level. But anyway, I won't spend too much time on Guns Akimbo. I think if you're going to be quarantined watching videos, this is a really good pick for something fun, a little bit brainless, but not dumb enough to not keep you from getting bored. Like there's plenty of boring content out there. This one is unique enough to where, and the performances from the cast are fun enough to keep you engaged through the whole thing. So Guns Akimbo in theater right now. Vince in the comments says, I love the careers of him and Elijah Wood. They have enough FU money to only pick up really interesting roles. So
what's that movie that Elijah Wood's in right now where he goes to meet his dad, but his dad is like not what it seems and like tries to kind of kill him or whatever, and it's like
I know I saw the trailer but I can't remember it, but I was thinking of the Elijah Wood movie where it was the Maniac remake, one of the big A24 studio hits before A24 got really big. If you've never seen Maniac, it's a really good remake of a cult classic 1980s horror film that was shot mostly from point of view perspective from an 80s slasher.
Dude, if you want
super creepy
Elijah Wood thriller horror movie, just go back in time to The Good Son.
Oh yeah, The Good Son.
Screw that movie.
Him and
Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin's evil, and he like murders the neighborhood pets with like homemade weapons, and he's like murder killer kid.
Oh yeah, not man. A baby boy.
Yeah, they were both babies because that was the thing at the end when they're hanging off the cliff, and the mom has each of them, and she's like, "Do I save my son, who's clearly evil, or do I save Elijah Wood, who's a sweet, sweet Frodo boy?"
Yeah.
And she has to think about it.
Yeah, who's going down into the fires of Mount Doom tonight?
Yeah, just getting smacked onto the spiky rocks of the Cape.
Well, anyway, Guns Akimbo on VOD. You can check it out. Let's talk about Bloodshot in theaters right now. Grip, you went and saw it. I didn't catch it. Vin Diesel, comic book movies. Mm-hmm. Here we go. What happened?
I mean, that's it. That you get a lot of face value, which is actually what you're going to. It's a very 90s comic book movie, and you get that whole 90s feel to it. There's no twist. You know who the bad guy is right from the onset, from the trailers. There's nothing for you to figure out. It's just action, it's fun, and you kind of just go along the ride with him, but have like a bit of a omnipotent or omniscient view of the story, knowing things a little ahead of when he does, kind of a thing. But it's all just straight comic book action, and it, I mean, it worked. It was an enjoyable movie. You have some kind of unique style action scenes because you have a guy that's kind of a bit of like a Liquid Terminator type thing.
Liquid Terminators.
Yeah, in the sense that he's his entire body, his blood has been replaced with nanites, and they can repair all damage to him and everything like that with some limitation. And you just see how he is a weapon, and it's a fun comic book movie to go to without it having to be superheroes with some sort of overbearing moral code that makes them boring, or putting on some like a uniform and trying to be a symbol to anybody, or do anything over the top, like have to stop a flying island that's flying for really no reason, or having to stop someone from putting a glove on,
for no reason.
Yeah. So
flying islands, magic gloves. What is this?
You get just like a on the ground action movie.
Bullets blazing,
yeah,
Guns Akimbo,
with a lot of practical effects mixed in with the CGI. I actually watched a scene breakdown of one of the big scenes in the movie, like his first big action scene where they had all of this powder caught in a tunnel and everything like that, and the way that the camera does it. I mean, there's some cool scenes in it, and there's some not mind-blowing because you're just too used to it, but some pretty good CGI for what they're creating. And they do a little bit of world building and things like that, but they stick to it feels like you're reading a comic book out of the 90s, and that was kind of a fun deal. And it was valiant.
These 90s movies, like we got Sonic the Hedgehog and now Bloodshot.
Yeah.
And we're going to, like, where's our new Spawn?
Yeah, that's supposed to be a thing that's happening, kind of, and they did not.
I'm okay with
They
it.
did not bring back Michael Jai White.
They're wanting to do a Max movie.
Forget that.
Which I don't approve of.
But it was Valiant Comics that did
Valiant.
Bloodshot, since you asked about it. I told you.
We thought it was Image, but we didn't.
I knew it was one of those.
And Google everything that you say.
Yeah, I knew it was one of those like
brains.
off-brand, like independent comics, you know, that were like, yo, hyper violence and stuff like that because 90s and boobs, and it's like what you want, and everyone's like, yeah, this is sick, and then like not enough people are buying violence and boobs, you guys. Yeah,
hey, especially now.
It's always hard to compete with Marvel and DC, so I'm sure this is, you know, the movie world is not any different.
Shout outs to my homies in New England Comics.
Yeah, it's a lot better than Sin City. Sam asked if it competes with that. Sin City was very much more of a Robert Rodriguez movie than a comic adaptation. I feel
agreed.
There. But you know, it's a fun movie, and everyone that appeared in it was able to portray some sort of character that you were like, well, I kind of want to see more about this person, or like know what their deal is, or their origin some more, or something like that. So everyone had that real comic feel of they had their part in the group, they had their power, and how they all fell in line, and you wanted to know more about it. And it made it where the whole thing was, you know, a fun movie to be a part of, I guess.
Right on.
Yeah, well, enjoyable. So use things like that as an alternative to Marvel and DC films, particularly Marvel, whenever you get the opportunity. Kind of broaden those horizons.
Bloodshot, in theaters that you can't go to. Our producer is over there looking for something. I think he's looking for this. I think he's looking for that. I'm gonna just hand this over right there to our producer. He's needing a little refreshment because it's COVID times, baby.
Yeah, if you keep your body pickled.
Alcohol, they say. Anything is possible. But yeah, you can check out Bloodshot, probably not in a Regal cinema, but it might come in VOD pretty soon, or if you are under a 50 population audience, you can go check it out in theaters. All right. Oh, ho, hey, ho, hey. Yeah, that's good. Pouring me over some more Hennessy, this cognac I've been drinking for about 2 hours.
Oh, you know what? Before we move too far away from it, you know how we had talked about, you know, Sonic getting changed because the internet wanted it, and Bloodshot kind of showing that they were doing the same thing? Mm-hmm. They do limit it. So you get to see him in his comic book style of white skin, red circle on the chest and everything like that, but it was limited. And in fairness, Bloodshot was a spin-off comic of Rye, which they mispronounce Ray, you know, just because that's a thing that they do, you know.
Yeah.
Like Raiden, no, it was Raiden, you know. Ryu, no, it's Ryu. You know, learn your Nihongese, people.
And yeah, like in Star Wars, it wasn't Rey, it was Rai.
Yeah. But Rai was like a Japanese hero who started out with that color scheme first, so white skin and a red dot in his chest made a lot more sense.
Oh, like the flag?
Yeah, you know, but Bloodshot was...
When the sun god dips his katana into the sea and pulls out the island of Nihon. Like, yeah, get started on Japanese history. We'll nerd out for hours.
Oh, yeah. I have, like, the Kojiki.
I know.
Yeah. But, yeah, so the color scheme shows up, but they don't really force it, you know, just because I think that color scheme was a spinoff of the character, and it's something that really worked in comics and maybe didn't translate to film. But they do show it and kind of put an explanation behind it a little bit, and it works out just fine.
Right on. Well, Onward, I don't know how you're going to see it, or excuse me, Bloodshot, I don't know how you're going to see it, but it is in theaters right now. If you're willing to take that chance, you can check it out. Just make good decisions. If you do decide to go to the theater, I'll be going to the theater as long as it's open, because I'm crazy like that, and I'm a public servant to you, so I'll be taking my wipes and my contraband beverages, and I don't want to touch the self-serve Coke machine. Get out of here, man. I'm gonna be flasking in my own Coke Zero. It's gonna be bootlegging my aspartame in there. But
most movie theaters will allow you to bring in water, or at least they used to. So you could bring water in with you, because
I think now that they sell bottled water, they might give you a little bit of the nano.
No, I don't think that applies anymore.
But trying times. Who knows? But anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to talk about a little movie that we saw, or I saw, called Onward. It's the new Pixar film, experiencing a lot of problems because most Pixar films make all of the money, but giving our times, it's not. This is the new film from Pixar about two brothers played by Tom Holland and Chris Pratt, two Marvel heroes here. We got Spider-Man and Star-Lord taking on the roles of two brothers that live in a World of Warcraft environment that used to rely on magic, that now relies on technology. And their dad is dead, so a Weekend in Bernie's style adventure ensues when they try to use magic to summon him. But this movie, going into it, I didn't expect much. I was like, okay, here we go. It's going to be, Disney clickbait, trying to get people into the theaters to just take more money from them. But after the first act, I was like, I wasn't sold. I wasn't sold on the first act. But by the third act, I am about to tear up a la Iron Giant, because Pixar is good at hitting you in the feels. Disney animation, not so much, but Pixar, their team is still willing to do something that I really approve of in family films, family animation, and all of this stuff. And it's to address difficult storylines, difficult family traumas in general, and hard times with an intelligent approach that doesn't treat children like idiots. And I think that's really important, that you treat young audiences as if they have the intellectual capability to process this information, this difficult information, where not everything is just like a pratfall and a fart joke. Because I think like Hayao Miyazaki, one of the most legendary animators of our time, is heralded for making challenging content for young viewers. Not making it R-rated or PG-13, but just dealing with themes that young people have to deal with. And taking them seriously and respecting them as an audience. And this film follows Chris Pratt, who is Barley Lightfoot, and his brother Ian Lightfoot, played by Tom Holland. Ian is the younger brother, and Barley grew up and knew their father for the first several years of his life, till he was, they never really gave an age, but let's just say 7 or 8. He got to kind of know his father. But Ian, who is 16, it's his 16th birthday at the time of the movie, his father died while his mother was still pregnant. So he never got to meet his father. So the whole story, he has this longing to know who his father was, to know what he came from, to know what his father was like. And this is something that a lot of people experience. And and it's sad and it's tragic. And this character has this longing to know what his pedigree is, and their mother is dating a new guy who is kind of a bit of comic relief, but they use that comic relief to sort of set up the awkwardness of what a single mom dating a guy that's not your dad might feel like to a young person. And you're not my dad, kind of, but not so stupid and extreme. And
because it's like he's an okay dude and they're cool with him.
Yeah, kind of. And it's he's a part of their life, and they even take a little side turn of talking about how it might be hard for him to try, like, there's these two boys that you're not their parent, and how does that work? And you want to be, and you want to do the right thing. and that was played by Mel Rodriguez, Colt Bronco, the Centaur. But this movie at its core is a movie about finding your inner strength and finding the strength in your family bonds and believing in each other. And that was something that these two brothers, through the course of the film, they were brothers and they loved each other, but one of them thought the other one was kind of a screw up, and the other one thought the other one was kind of weak. And by the end of the movie, the things that they were searching for in their relationships with their family, the things that they thought were missing from their family, were there the whole time in the form of each other. And they find this strength in one another that is it's a refreshing thing that you don't often see in movies about boogers and farts that or Minions. Literally any of the Minions films. They're like, gobble gobble go, butt cheeks, gobble gobble go, boogers, gobble gobble go. Like, that's the entire plot of every Minions film, and they make billions of dollars. And so, you see this play out. Julia Louis-Dreyfus playing the mother, Octavia Spencer crushing it as the Manticore. But this telling the story of these people that have kind of foregone their history, having to rely on history and having to rely on togetherness and family to get through troubling times, even though everything else is telling you, hey, you know what, that's old and that's stupid and you don't need that. And it turns out that if they had just paid a little bit of attention to the ways of their predecessors, that things would have been a lot better. And to learn from those things and to move onward, but always be acknowledging and taking the past seriously, which I think is a really, really, really important lesson, something that we talk about on the Drive-In Speakerbox, because the past is where most of the cool shit happened, and all the stuff that we continue to do is just recycled versions of the past.
It's actually where everything happened.
Exactly. Good play on words there, Grip. Thank you. And, this movie is like many other Pixar movies. It's full of heart. It's full of deep characters. It's full of, the animation is good because it's Pixar. And, the setting lends itself to a lot of prepackaged humor that kind of fell a little bland in the first act, but like I said, stuck the landing in the third act. And I think if you give this movie, when you go in there and give it that first 30 minutes, let it get that like bait for the kids out of the way. And once it gets them hooked, it's like, all right, we're about to tell you a story. And then once that story gets into full gear, you find that it's a really good family-friendly thing that hits you not quite as hard in the feels as, say, Coco. I mean, there is dead dads happening. And,
but dead dads is sad.
Yeah.
But not as sad as, like, heaps of dead grannies.
Because, we live in a world where nobody likes dads anymore. Everybody loves grannies.
I like my dad.
I know you do. Dad.
Shout out to my dad.
He's probably watching. But there's some sad shit in this movie, and I think it's important for kids to see some sad shit, you guys. Just check it out. Sam says nothing can match the first 10 minutes of Up for the feels, which is true.
Up has an old dad. Shout out to my grandpa. I like my grandpa too.
But Up went all in on sad at the front, happy on the back, and Onward went from happy on the front, sad on the back. So kind of like Coco was just like, oh, hey, happy on the front, weeping on the back. It's the Pixar way. They're going to hit you in the feels one way or another. So there you go. In theaters right now, Onward. Not doing so well. I am pretty sure that Disney's probably going to fall in line with NBC Universal and start offering these films that are in theaters on demand here really, really soon as these closings
the thing about that, though, is I wonder who's going to complain that it's not part of their Disney Plus,
That's a good. Because again, it's different. Like I would
sure, but will they realize that?
audiences probably won't. Just like they're the same people that we have to tell in the bar and restaurant, hey, we clean stuff. Oh, you guys clean stuff? Okay, good. We'll come in. It's like, we always clean stuff. We clean stuff rigorously every night.
That's why when you walk in and you see me cleaning, oh, are you guys closed?
No, I'm just cleaning.
It's 11. There was an opportunity to clean, so
we're gonna keep cleaning. You know, and I think that hopefully audiences, and this is something that, you know, there are times where I condone a word that rhymes with iracy, but most of the times I don't. I don't want to say it. I don't want to get flagged. But there are times where I say that that's a necessary thing, a necessary evil. But there are a lot of times where I don't. Like, I do believe in paying for content. I do believe in going to the theaters and buying tickets. I do believe in supporting local and supporting your film industry, because I've worked in the film. I still work in the film industry, and I have many of my friends work in the film industry. And it's a hard business. It's not, you know, it's not all red carpets for us. Like, you know, Chris Pratt and Tom Holland get on the red carpet, but for a lot of us on the crew, when the production's done, we're in a trailer on the way to the next one, you know, and eating Nature Valley granola bars and not trying to get everything covered in crumbs. I was a stink bug. I mean, or it's probably, it's not a stink bug. It's not gonna stink. Ladies and gentlemen, Speaker Lab Studios. But support, you know, support those things. And if Disney Plus decides, like, hey, we want to put Onward on your Disney Plus for an extra $5 or $6, pay it. You cheap sons of bitches, just pay it. You know, just if you believe in something and you want to see something, succeed, give it the $4 or $5 freaking dollars. Just do it. Trust me, it's less than you're gonna pay for a Starbucks coffee.
I'm gonna pay to rent Guns Akimbo.
Exactly, yeah. $6.99. That's it. That's cheap. They spent millions on that. You know, it's one of those things that, you know, the Alton Brown Good Eats, the return, like the season was $17.99. I'm like, dude, I'm not going anywhere for a while. Boom, Alton Brown, I love what you're doing. Here's $17.99. Thank you for doing what you're doing. And wow. I got the whole season. I mean, there's like 15 episodes. It's like just over $1 an episode. That's nothing considering the amount of work that they put in to bring that content to you. So anyway, Onward in theaters right now, probably going to be on video demand pretty soon. Okay. I think it's time for the box office roundup.
Yeah, well, while we're talking about streaming services, Sam pointing out that WWE Network might remove WrestleMania and start making people pay subscription or pay-per-view prices again. That would be dumb. That's stupid. I hate that. No one would have network anymore. Because what's the point? NXT is not on there anymore because it's on Fox Sports. You wouldn't have the big pay-per-view that makes all watching everything worth it. No, ridiculous.
It'd be gone. Wrestling.
No, that's because AEW's there selling pay-per-views and shaking up the thing they had going.
Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, here's the box office report for this weekend, and then we're going to get out of here. We've got the weekend roundup from March, 13th through 15th, 2020, amidst the COVID pandemic. One of the worst box offices in box office history.
It does not look good.
So, guys.
But that's not a reflection of the movies.
Oh, my gosh, guys. And I think people finally know this. Number 10, Bad Boys for Life brought in $1.1 million at the box office. Like, hang on. 10, 20, 30, 35, 40, 42, 44, 45, 46%. The entire box office, the top 10, made less than $50 million this week. All 10. That's, wow.
Yeah, that's sometimes just what the number one movie makes on its opening weekend.
Wow. So here we go. Number 10, Bad Boys for Less, bringing in $1.1 million from Sony in its 9th weekend release, bringing in $204 million domestically. Number 9, Emma, bringing in $1.2 million in its 4th weekend release from Focus Pictures, bringing in $9.9 million. Number 8, The Call of the Wild, in its 4th weekend release from 20th Century Fox, bringing in $2.2 million up against, I don't have budget numbers right now, but it brought in $62 million domestically. Number 7, The Way Back, $2.3 million in its 2nd weekend release from Warner Brothers, bringing in a total of 13.3. Number 6, Sonic the Hedgehog, hanging in there for 5 weeks from Paramount, bringing in $2.5 million this week, bringing it up to $145 million at the box office. Number 5, The Hunt, opening up, hoping to take advantage of that. Didn't get to open, get people scared. This is the movie you couldn't see. Brought in 5.3, but now this is literally the movie you can't see.
Yeah, but the world had other plans.
Yep. It only brought in $5.3 million in its opening weekend from Universal Pictures. Number 4, The Invisible Man, also from Universal Pictures, in its 3rd weekend release, bringing in $5.8 million, bringing it up to $64 million. And here's where it gets weird, guys. Number 3, I Still Believe. Speaking of I Still Believe, Tim Capello doing the, of course, amazing song from Lost Boys, but also being the head saxophone player for Tina Turner for about 15 years. Very talented musician. He was not only in Little Rock on March 13th, but was in Tulsa just the other day. I got to watch some live streaming of that. My God, I wish I was at that show. $9.1 million for I Still Believe. Lionsgate collecting that money this week. And number 2, the number 2 movie in America, opening up at the number 2 spot, is Bloodshot. Number 2 spot, only bringing in $9.1 million at the box office. Pretty low, slow, bad opening for Sony.
Dude, but again, not a reflection of the movie.
No.
Just of theatrical limitations.
And it only opened in 2,800 theaters, like Dina said here on the comments. Long time no see, Dina. She said Bloodshot would have been number 1 had it been in more movie theaters. It had a pretty decent per theater average given the state of things. Yes, it did. Considering the top 10, it had the highest per theater average of all the movies, but it was only in 2,800 theaters. Onward, of course, in 4,300 theaters nationwide. And as Vince just said in the YouTube comments, it's only going to get worse.
That makes it where, top 10 movies, there's only 3 below it that had less theaters that were showing it. Yep.
And, of course, the number 1 movie in America, Onward, in its 2nd weekend release, but only bringing in $10 million nationwide. Like, that is a 73% drop. That is a monster drop. Usually movies like this get a 30 to 40% drop, or especially if they're big-budget movies, like, and from a huge studio like Disney, they're going to see like a 25 to 30% drop. This was 73%. It went from 50-something million down to 10 million. That's big, you guys. So it's brought in a total domestic gross of only $60 million nationwide, which is low for Disney.
I really do think that sucks for a movie like Bloodshot, which could have probably been a lot more successful and showed that movies other than anything in the Marvel universe could be a success when based on a comic property like that. But its ability or time to shine there was taken from it against circumstances that no one could control. Yeah.
You know, as Dina just said, she's our resident Fantasy Movie League expert. She said Fantasy Movie League is in shambles, as it will probably remain for the next.
How are you supposed to,
It's interesting times, you guys.
Yeah.
I was
going to say, I just hope they don't look at that as a reflection of these movies' ability to make money, like on something like Bloodshot that could be a good,
interesting departure from Marvel.
Yeah, or like a start on a different path for different forms of entertainment within that realm of source material for people to gain something from, like. I just played the oh crap, I can't.
You played a video game?
Yeah, I played a video game based on a 2000 AD comic.
Not Judge Dredd.
Not Judge Dredd, but the blue skin, the soldiers, the future, space, clones. You know what I'm talking about?
Space clones.
Yeah, exactly.
Blue space clones.
Space Force. Yeah.
No, you know what I'm talking about. Like he has like his comrades, and they have their biochips.
Are they Russian?
They go on the guns and the helmet. No, man, it's like I'll remember it in a minute, and I'll be like, oh, I do not remember. But movies on things like that would be super cool. But
they gotta make money first. So
I gotta remember what these things are called in my brain first.
We're in troubling times. So we'll be here. We'll probably be making more content because the producer, the Grip, and I have a lot more time on our hands right now, I think, and we're gonna be. Well, maybe not the producer because he works remotely. He's a coder, so he's probably got even more work on his hands. But the Grip and I, what was that?
Yeah, I can't complain.
Yeah, I mean he's doing fine.
Rogue Trooper, there we go.
Yeah, our producer is going to be doing his thing because he's going to be saving the world behind that keyboard. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back. We will definitely be back next week. We might even be back sooner than that. You don't know, and neither do we. But thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Share it to your friends. It's crazy that on my personal thing we had like hundreds of viewers, and now we're back down to our Driving Speakerbox viewers. So
hey, but you guys rule.
You guys do rule. Share the love and stay safe out there. Make good decisions and watch some movies. Do it.